All right. Welcome. This is a webinar for the migration customers, people who are currently using the Infinity program and looking to go to MotilityAnywhere. This is an overview of the changes, specifically in the accounting module between the two programs. Now, do bear in mind that I have all access. I may see things on my screen that you do not see on yours when you are logged in, but we will be going through specifically the accounting module today. In the Zoom window, you should have a Q&A button. The Q&A button, you will get a little window where you can type in questions. Those questions come directly to me, and I can answer your questions as they come up. Now, bear in mind, I am not an accountant, so I cannot answer how do I do accounting, but I can answer how to do things in the program. So please bear that one in mind as well as we go through. So Q&A, please do feel free to submit questions as they arise. So let's go ahead and talk about the MotilityAnywhere system. This is the screen that you're going to see when you first sign in. Now, if you are working in a dealership that has multiple profit centers or rooftops, each one will have its own tab here. And within each tab, you're going to have the modules for that location. Underneath, you're going to have several quick links, not so useful for accounting, but to get to other places in the program for day-to-day functionality. On the left-hand side, you're going to have your history. So you'll be able to see anything that you went into and made changes on, and be able to very quickly and easily click over the link to pull it back up. So since we are going to be covering accounting today, I'm going to go ahead and go to the accounting module. All right, so just like opening up in the Infinity program, you are going to see the company and profit center selection here. You can, of course, go ahead and change if you want to. Select the ones you want and choose confirm. Again, just like the Infinity system, a list of all journals for the month and year is going to show in here. Now, we did move some things around. So obviously, the look is quite different from the Infinity system. You'll notice the bar up at the very top, the blue bar, has a couple different things up here. You have a little house. This is your home screen. This is that screen that you see when you first sign in. Now, obviously, I'm not going to go anywhere else. I want to be here. So I'm going to close out of that. The location, you'll see it is listed up here so that you know immediately which one you are signed into. You have a search here. Now, the search is pretty straightforward. You type in your search terms, and it's going to look through all of these different column headers to try and find information that searches or that meets that search term that we entered. In addition to a quick search, we also have an advanced search. Now, the advanced search is going to let you get pretty darn specific, looking at date ranges and things like that. Once you've performed a search, whether it be a quick search or an advanced search, if you need to look at your results list again, you can click Results History to pull up that list of results all over again for you. This lets you go ahead and move between results very quickly. Just to the right of that, we do have the current month and year shown here. Now, I am still in month 12 of 22, so we will talk about changing months as we go through today. Towards the right, we have a little exclamation point. Now, this is a fast and easy way to get in touch with the support team. So if you're working on something and you have a question, you can click the exclamation point and a little pop-up will appear for you to go ahead and type in your question or concern. Also in the upper right, we have a notification bell. And if you are using tasks in the program, then you will actually be able to see any tasks with a due date of today or previous need to be performed or finished. Just to the right of that is the user icon. Now, the user icon has a menu going on in here. One of these options is the settings, and we will go ahead and talk further about settings as we keep going. We also have a couple other tools that I'm sure you are familiar with from the Infinity program. So if we have accidentally locked a record, we can unlock that record. All you would need to do is, just like in the Infinity system, find what type of entry or document that you need to get into and be able to unlock it right from here. Also under the drop down, you do have themes. Now the themes really just kind of change the whole look of the program. Some people find it easier to work with a dark theme if they are looking for high contrast or trying to go ahead and work in a dark space versus a light space, a little bit easier on the eyes for some people. So you can change between your themes. You can adjust some of the text size by using this text size slider. So you can slide to the left and to the right to increase and decrease text size. Now I am going to go ahead and give you a quick trick though, because this is an internet browser-based program. You can actually use the settings of zoom on the browser itself to zoom in and zoom out. So I have a pretty small monitor, so I apologize. I know this may be a little bit small for everybody to look at, but I can go ahead and zoom in for the whole browser, which is going to go ahead and adjust everything on the screen, not just specific text. We do have an advanced view. Now, advanced view is only used for certain screens, and I do enable it because when I'm looking at different screens, I want to see things in a column layout, so that's a little bit easier for me when whichever screen I'm on has the advanced view that I already have it enabled. Also, under the user icon, you have help/question. This is going to do the exact same thing as clicking that exclamation point in the upper right. This is a way to reach out to the support team. I also can go ahead and choose to log out if I'm done with my session. In the far upper right is the time clock. I can clock in and clock out for the day right here. Depending on security permissions, I may have additional options that I can do. All right. So our breakdown is a little bit different for the menu on the left side of the screen. Now, a lot of these options were either tucked away in different screens in the accounting module. Some of them were under the edit menu in the upper left of the accounting module, and some were under the tools menu in the upper left of the accounting module in Infinity. So some things have moved around. Again, most of them are showing down this left side. There's quite a lot going on here. We'll get into those, but you do still have some that have been put into the settings. So the settings has a couple different spots and different areas where you can do setting things up, not necessarily day-to-day functionality, but setup. And then your day-to-day is almost all in the accounting module itself. Again, if you have any questions, please do feel free to drop them into the Q&A. I will try and address those as they come up. Now, overall, you will not be lost in the accounting module in Motility Anywhere. The functionality is essentially the exact same as the Infinity program. Some things have kind of resituated on the screen a little bit, but the same exact things can be done. So for instance, writing checks. When you go ahead and click the print check option, it wants to know which bank account you are creating a check for, and you can click create check. Now, also from that screen, if you have automatic check writing enabled, you can click that to go ahead and start a batch. Now, this does look a little bit different up top. This top section is all the check info section, the payee section. Now, if I was writing a check, I can go ahead and add an existing entity or create a new entity to be able to write a check for them. Well, what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to click over a check in the list of checks to the left. These are checks that happened during this month. And that way I can go ahead and show you what it looks like when we've selected an entity and a little bit more information to show on for the actual check itself. So these fields all work just like the Infinity system. If there are payable amounts due to the entity selected, they will show in this list. And then I'm just going to scroll down a little bit. And when we go ahead to actually cut the check, the transaction that's created shows right here. So again, very similar to the Infinity program. A little bit different layout up at the top, especially with the payee. But the payee information, if I go ahead and let me move my little help out of the way because it's in front of my button. For the payees, all I would need to do is hit add existing entity, and then I can do a search for them. So if I'm looking for a specific entity here, and again, I'm going to be able to go ahead and do all the things that I need to do and say what I'm paying on this check. It creates the accounting transaction at the bottom. I can then click print and print it out. It will pop open a preview for me. And then my status will update to say it's been printed. It assigns the check number and I'm all set. So again, not much has changed between the Infinity program and Motility Anywhere. Again, very straightforward. Same steps to cut checks. Again, if you have any questions, please do feel free to type them into the Q&A so I can get those answered for you. All right. So again, a lot of these same options that were on the left side in Infinity are on the left side in Motility Anywhere. Receiving pay on accounts, warranty credits. Now the warranty credit screen pretty much looks exactly the same. You will go ahead, choose that. You'll put in a reference number. You can, of course, filter by profit center if needed. You'll put in the warranty receivable company, your clearing account if needed, and the amount. And then you can click the add new item down here to add a new line and select the claim number. Of course, you can add the multiple lines here as needed. And when you're done and everything matches, you can click Mark Completed and you're all set. Okay. Manual entries, again, work exactly the same way in Motility Anywhere as they do in Infinity. You can click the New Journal Entry here. Again, this top section is really just things to do and quick ways to do it. So you can go ahead and click New Journal Entry. It wants to know, of course, which journal that we're going to use. And then we can go ahead and put in our reference number. Make sure your posting month and year are correct according to your transaction date. Put in your GL account. If you need an entity number or stock number, they will light up bright red for you. And you can put in your debit or credit amounts, comments, etc. Just like in Infinity, if the debit and credit sides do not match, you will not be able to post it. We have to have those balanced in order to be able to post transactions. So if there is something specific that you would like to see in the accounting module, please do drop it into the Q&A so I can make sure that gets covered. This is not an exhaustive walkthrough on the system. This is really to highlight the similarities and differences between the systems. So one of the quick links is changing which month and year we are looking at, the viewing month and year. Now that's a little bit different than updating the current month and year. The current month and year can be selected here, and this does make the change for the whole company. So you'll notice up top, it went ahead and updated our month and year. And now the transactions that show in our list are the transactions for that month and year. Closing the month, opening the month, and restricting the months, these all moved out from under the Tools drop-down in Infinity to be right up here for you. Make life a little bit easier to go ahead and open, close, and restrict different months. The bank reconciliation screen still looks about the same. You can go ahead and put in your current balance, update your dates, and be able to check off the individual transactions that went through. Now, that's a bad checking account for me to be using because I only have one transaction. But you basically go ahead and clear the transactions, and then you can go ahead and finalize and print out. All right, so we do have a quick link here. Hold on, I'm going to scroll back up to add new GL account. You definitely can use that. It is a quick and easy way to add new GL accounts. But if you need to look at your chart of accounts, and I like to do that before I make new ones, you can click the Chart of Accounts option to open up your list of GL accounts. So you can click over any one of these column headers to sort the list however you need to. And underneath, you can see this small box. This is a filter box. You can type in, excuse me, specific accounts to go ahead and narrow your list to that. And one cool thing on pretty much every single list in our system, you can customize the look of it. So something to know is if you wanted to shrink things down, maybe you said, hey, I don't need one of these rows or columns, you can click the ellipsis button on the column header and hover over columns. And then if you do need to, you can uncheck, one or more of the different columns to be able to hide them immediately. Even better, this is the one I like, is that a lot of the time I want to move things over out of my way a little bit. I don't want that one right up front. I want it over here. So I can actually go ahead and drag it over, drop it where I want it to go. And then now I'm looking at it in the order that I want to see it. Once you've made any changes to those lists, you'll want to make sure that you click the Save Layout option. And now that layout has been saved. Now the layout is only for me, but it does make life easier for me to make sure it's the order that I want it to show in. All right, so something kind of nice, if we click over an accounting transaction in our all journals or any of our journals lists, we can see a preview underneath. So this is going to go ahead and give me a preview of each of the lines. Obviously, this is only 2 lines, so it's not super duper long, but I can go ahead and see all that information in one spot without even opening up the transaction. All right. Continuing down the left side, I'm just hitting some highlights for you guys. That's it. If you do have particular screens or things that you wish to see, please do drop that into the Q&A for me. Okay, so let's go ahead and I'm going to just hop right on in to the Purchase Order Control Center, General Purchase Orders. These, again, work and look pretty darn similar to the Infinity system. So if you are managing your purchase orders, you can search for them, hit search, and get your list of orders underneath and be able to go ahead, open it up. And that way you can control posting to accounting of those orders. So you get to double check the world. Again, general purchase orders looks a little bit different, but you can input your entity reference. If you have specific dates that you need to have entered, you add your entity for the purchase order. And then you add the individual why. What is this for? So when you go ahead to add this, it is a little entry screen where you can put in what it is. What is the general purchase order for? You can put in your cost. You can put in your quantity. If this is associated with a stock number, etc., all the same information is there. If your general purchase order is going to have multiple lines, you can submit and add new. If this is the only line, you can hit submit. I'm just going to hit cancel because I'm not filling anything in. Down here will be a total of everything. And right from here, you can order and receive to create that payable to be able to pay the bill. So again, looks a little bit different. Same functionality as the Infinity program. So under cash management, we have our daily deposits, check approvals, bank card imports, and floor plan interest imports. So I am going to go ahead and hop into the deposits so you can see what that screen looks like. It's pretty straightforward. Then it looks an awful lot like the Infinity program. Now, obviously, I've been very bad in not doing my deposits. So we can go through, use the little arrow on the far left to expand it and be able to look at detailed information for each one of those. We can check the box or boxes, hit add to move them over to the right-hand side where we're going to be putting in the deposit total. When everything lines up, that is the deposit amount, click deposit. It will generate the accounting transaction for us. And then we can go ahead and save. And we're done. Okay. Now, one of the things that somebody just asked about was importing accounting transactions. So you can go ahead and use the import accounting transactions option here. Now you can just select your file if you have it already set up and formatted. If you don't, you can hit the instructions button And this is going to go ahead and give you the instructions to set up the actual, oh my gosh, like Microsoft Excel or document, so that then you can just import it. Those instructions are also available on our online help site, which is help.motilitysoftware.com. So you can find those instructions there as well. Not seeing any yet, so I'm going to kind of keep running here. If we've created warranty credits, we will be able to view them under the views for warranty credits. You can, again, click once over it to go ahead and open it up and be able to go through what happened. So this lets you go ahead and verify, make sure everything matches, and make sure you are good to go. Same thing with AR invoices, again, general purchase orders, and your payments on account. Alrighty. Well, if you do have any questions, now's the time. Drop them into the Q&A so I can get those answered for you. But again, most everything looks pretty similar to the Infinity system. Some things are rearranged just slightly. So you will notice that like the buttons definitely look a little bit different. Some of them have changed where they are. And then we do have a couple cool features that are new that you can view there. One of the really nice things that I like is that sometimes, obviously not so far this month on my training database, but sometimes we have a huge list and you want to see more than just the first couple. Hover over this little box here. And you can click and drag to expand your visible section. And that way you can see more on your screen. Now, of course, like I said, I have a very small screen, so this gets a little difficult sometimes with a whole lot showing. So I tend to keep it pretty small. Thank you so much for joining me this afternoon to talk about the accounting module in the MotilityAnywhere system. Thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate your time.